And you, and you, and you, and you were there. Some of it wasn't very nice, but most of it was beautiful.
Hello again, and we're back as my co-host belches into his microphone.
Oh, that's how you enter a room, folks.
Welcome
Welcome to
back. So
Dream
yeah,
Idiots.
go ahead.
Well, welcome back to Dream Idiots, where each week my partner in crime, Bryan, across the Zoom lens here, and I tell you stories from our own personal history, from the headlines, or from the dusty tomes of what has gone before. How you doing, Bryan?
Doing great. Just had an absolute gully washer here. So actually, we had rain here for the first time since my childhood. So it was kind of nice. It'd been a long ass time. So that was a delightful change. And I did notice yet again that weirdly, even though it was 8 or 10 weeks ago, the Shortcut to Murder / Austin Love Triangle episode still has the most listens of any of our episodes. So I think I do think going forward we have to impose the true crime titling function for all our episodes and have it be completely unrelated to what happens. So the title of this week's episode is axe murdering ride share driver pedophile. There you go.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's
so
good.
that'll be in the title. And if you're confused when you listen to it, you'll oh well, tough shit.
Thanks for your comments via email and on the websites. Thank you very much for the feedback. We do appreciate it. The vulgar dictionaries have not come in yet, correct? Because you're getting them. They're still in transit.
They are in transit. Only had one taker so far. So if you want the a pocket edition of the vulgar dictionary, there are still copies available, which we will send to you free of charge. Morris has his, and apparently it's a delightful little toilet read. I guess it's like 5 by 8 inches, right? It's nice and small.
Yeah, it's a pocket book. You could put it in a rather large pocket. You're going first this week.
I am indeed.
Before we get started, I would just like to say some brief words here. I would like to dedicate this episode to my dog, Millie. Our dog, I should say. Millie was nearly 9.5 years old, and she passed away yesterday, our beautiful girl. But I want to dedicate it to her because dogs have senses of humor. And the story I would like to tell about Millie is the time right when we got her from a Great Dane rescue. Beautiful black Great Dane with little white spats on her feet. And she was barely a puppy, barely 100 pounds. And one night my wife was out of town at a conference. And when my wife would go out of town and the boys were younger, I didn't like to wear my CPAP because I'm a snorer, which you've shared a hotel room with me once upon a time. I didn't like to wear the CPAP when my wife was out of town because of all the white noise it creates inside your head. I was worried I wouldn't be able to hear the boys if they needed me in the middle of the night. So wouldn't wear my CPAP and I would sleep just horribly. And one night when she was gone, I woke up instantly, and it's that weird wake up sensation you get when you know someone's watching you, but you don't open your eyes. That lizard part of your brain goes off, and you're like, right. Somebody's watching me. I slowly opened my eyes to just see these glinty orbs really close because I have poor vision. And I realize it's the dog. Millie's looking at me. My dog's looking at me. And I say to her, what are you doing, Millie? And then with one lick of the tongue, she coats me from the tip of my chin to my forehead. And I have a large forehead, folks, between the receding hairline and the fact that I have a naturally large forehead. She wiped me clean with one swipe and then slowly melted back into the darkness where I couldn't see her. And the next day I figured it out. I'd been snoring. And so my dog came in to check out what was going on.
Right.
I was making this horrible noise. So she's like, I'm going to stare at him until he wakes up. And when I woke up, she was like, oh, okay, good food giver. You're alive. And she gave me a face cleansing lick. So this one goes out to you, Millie, wherever you are. I hope you're picking out a good hiking trail for us. You are our good dog. You are our good girl. You are our Millie, and you'll be missed. So let's make it a good one, Bryan. Let's make it a good one.
Okay. Yeah, very, very, very sweet dog. I recall clearly you feeding her one time, and you had failed to add, I think, the coconut oil to it, maybe. You put food down, and because she was huge, she reached her head down to the dish and kind of looked at it, and then brought her head back up and looked at you like hello. Like, oh, right.
Where's my topping?
Right. So, it's not done yet, dummy. So, yeah, very, very sweet dog. All right. And here we go. So I think for the first time ever, we're going to talk about sports. And frankly, I wish I had a little sound effect of a ball being hit by a bat and then some crowd noise. There you go. But didn't have time to put that together. So we're going to talk about one of the most high pressure filled sports teams probably in human history. So I know you to be a sports fan. I mean, I think you pretty much watch every single professional team sport. I know you like the Olympics. I mean, besides NASCAR, I think you're kind of an all-purpose sports fan. Generally
I'll
speaking.
watch it if it's on. I'll watch it if I'm doing nothing else. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then especially playoff time, high pressure, sporting events are even more fun to watch. But we're going to talk today about a team called the Wyoming State Penitentiary All-Stars. So, right. Okay. As I've said before, I think more than once that all stories from history are just the stories of racism. This one's not really a story about racism, but many of those stories are also just tales of rich white people behaving like crap and trying to make money off of people. And this is kind of maybe more in that vein. So we're going to go back over 100 years ago. So this is beginning of the 20th century, and go to a part of the country where there ain't nobody there. Wyoming, I think current population for Wyoming is like 500,000 people in the entire state. And Wyoming is probably similar in size to Colorado, I think. If you went back to this period of time, World War I era, population, I think, was closer to a third of that, like 150,000 people in the entire state. So there's no one there. This is obviously way before the internet, way before even airmail. And so, Wyoming, this is not really technically the period of the Wild Wild West, but it is. I mean, there aren't like federal resources. There's not communication. There's not. I mean, if you're anywhere in the continental United States and you are west of the Mississippi, you're kind of on your own at this point in U.S. history, probably. And so law enforcement and prisons and how that whole process was dealt was very regionalized, localized, maybe. And so, it still was very, rough and tumble. And in this part of the world, if you were someone who was convicted of a murder, a serious crime, a felony, or maybe if you were even just accused of it, reference the story of Emmett Till. All kinds of bad things could happen to you, and it was just vigilante justice. Things would be carried out against you by the locals. And so the source of the story, by the way, is a book called The Death Row All-Stars, a story of baseball corruption and murder by Howard Kazanchian and Chris Eanes. Apologies if I'm butchering either of your names. And so we're going to a town called Rollins, Wyoming. And it is,
I know, quote, Rollins.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So Rollins, Wyoming, quote, the frontier town had long shown its strict old world approach to conquering crime. Desperados caught in the act of robbery, rape, or murder in the town were not only hanged, but sometimes actually skinned, write the authors. Various items were made from the hides of these unfortunate lawbreakers, sold as souvenirs, and used as a warning to other would-be felons. There was a guy a little bit before this story in 1881, a felon, a guy named George Parrott, who killed 2 deputy sheriffs. It was during an attempted train robbery. And I judge he was probably guilty, but he was just lynched basically for having, committed these crimes. And they took his skin.
I didn't do it.
They took his skin and made shoes.
All right.
I'm pretty certain I wouldn't wear shoes made out of human. So anyway, so that's
Brian, you never know what someone's life is like till you walk a mile in shoes made of their skin. Shoes. So,
right. And that was when he carried me, right? So the Wyoming State Penitentiary originally opens in 1901, and frankly, it seems a lot like it was some of the private prisons that are run even today. They're basically run for profit. So he's under command of a man named Otto Graham, who used it as a money-making machine. Basically, he was, I mean, in 1901, this guy was a millionaire. Somehow he was a broom millionaire. He made his money selling brooms, and he this prison facility was basically his slave labor factory, like, you know, the facilities now that make appliances and license plates, and prisoners in Texas and elsewhere are paid whatever it is, 23 cents a day. This is, you know, the same basic business model. And so Graham, you know, allegedly, quote, looked after the prisoners, and he paid for their well-being, basically by having them assemble brooms all day. And over the course of the 10 years that the facility was under his care, he made $250,000.
Oh my God.
Which, corrected for today's dollar, I mean, I didn't check to see what the conversion is to, you know, 2022.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, just a shitload of money off these, you know, these poor guys. And the conditions in this place were just fucking dreadful. The book says that, quote, meals were calculated down to the last bean so that just enough food was served to prevent starvation. So these guys, you couldn't have been terribly effective workers if, you know, if your stomach's growling that much. But again, rich white people just fucking over others. Granted, these folks are criminals, but I'm sorry, in this country, you allegedly have rights, or so I've heard. So April 1911 rolls around. This system was banned by the state. Graham was tossed out and said, yeah, you can't do this anymore. The sheriff of Bighorn County, a guy named Felix Alston, is named the new warden. He's named warden by a guy named Joseph Carey, who's the current governor of Wyoming. So Alston, by all accounts, is a much nicer guy. He's much more compassionate. He realizes these guys have rights. He institutes some reforms, giving them rights to exercise, being outside, builds out a road building program, and then had the idea of starting an inmate baseball team. So the reason that it turns out later on that the stakes wound up being so high for this team, it turns out we will find out here later on. Alston goes to his friend the governor and says, we want to start this baseball team, and the governor endorses the idea because he enjoys gambling and he wants to make money off the team by placing bets. And it turns out there are a number of players in this institution who are very, very skilled athletes and who are very good at baseball. So the Wyoming State Penitentiary All-Stars played their first game of baseball on July 18th, 1911. They had a 12-man roster, and on this roster were 3 rapists, a forger, 5 thieves, and 3 murderers. So we're not going to talk about all of the players on this team, but that would just take too long. And okay, so the first game they play on July 18th is against the Wyoming Supply Company Juniors. Baseball, I mean, this is a period of time in American history. Baseball is a huge game, wildly popular, and this is a company team, but it's one of the best teams in the area. The All-Stars beat the crap out of them, winning 11-1. Joseph Sang, who's the right fielder and the triple murderer, hit 2 home runs in the game, including a grand slam. And there was just wild interest in this game. And I'm sure it must have been bizarre because all around the field, there were armed guards. And when the players came out before the game, they were walked out in arm and leg shackles, unshackled, given their mitts, and then allowed to run out on the field, which is just bizarre. The Washington Post had a title right after this that read, "Slayer scores home runs." So friggin' weird. So, I mean, in spite of the fact these guys are criminal, they're good players. They're professional. They carry themselves in an appropriate way, and they're sort of lauded for this. The Carbon County Journal refers to them as the Cons. They're quoted as saying, Joseph Sang, our triple murderer, who was convicted of murder in the first degree and sentenced to death, played a classy game all the way through. He will petition the governor to commute his sentence to life imprisonment sometime this month. So gambling is the motivation here. So one of the other players, Tom, I think it's Tommy Saban, has a family connection to Alston, the warden. And so Saban is also a murderer. He's in prison for ambushing 3 sheep herders in this area. Again, this is very, very much a Wild West story. He ambushed these 3 guys, shooting them in the face at close range, and killed all 3
Lord.
of them.
I should hope so.
Like,
God.
for stealing I mean, that's how freaking bizarre. I get it, how you have the right to defend yourself if someone's breaking into your house. If someone hops over a fence and is stealing livestock or hay, I don't think you have the right, either in 1911 or 2022, to shoot them dead. But anyway, this guy's pretty hardcore. But because of his connection to Alston, he is allowed on several occasions to change into street clothes, go into town with Alston, and take bets on these games. And it's very clear Alston knows about this. The governor knows about this, and so this is part of the. I mean, I think Alston really wants these guys to do well and have some outlet, but the governor's play is here. Let's figure out some way to make some more money off of this. So, he goes into town. He does have a guard with him, but he hits these watering holes and takes bets. He takes a commission as well. And, that's how this whole thing sort of evolves. So they win that first game 11-1. The whole lifespan of this team only lasts 4 games. And all four games, they beat the snot out of basically everyone they play. Win the first 3 games 11-1, 11-5, and 11-2. The 4th game they win, I think it's 15-4. But around this same period of time, our previous warden, the guy who was using them to make brooms, finds out, is hearing rumors about the gambling that's going on, because he still has people that are working in the prison that are informing him on what's going on. And he's close friends with a current Wyoming senator, a guy named Francis Warren, who wants to run for governor. And so the fact that the current governor is involved in gambling is a way to basically bring this whole thing to a close pretty quickly. On at least one occasion, both Sang and Saban's execution dates were postponed because of these games that were, games were on the calendar. But all this comes quickly to an end, because the governor decides, well, I've now been caught, and I can't really back out from all this. But there was very clearly the ongoing threat. Even though they're making money on it, the threat was these players that they were definitely motivated to play hard and play well, because the promise was, if you played well, you would have states of execution. And both Sang and Saban had at least one delay of their execution date, and at least on one occasion, one of the players, a guy named Joseph Gazzardo, was their shortstop. They were there for a practice at one point, and taking infield practice, etc. And Gazzardo, he's in for manslaughter. He fumbles a ground ball that Saban hit at him, and then missed another one on the next ball in his direction. And Gazzardo is so pissed off at himself, he like runs off the field, just grumbling with himself. And Saban follows him off the field and just reams him out and says, "Look, you have to pull your shit together, because there's a lot riding on these games. So get it together here, because otherwise we'll be going up to face our execution date sooner than we want to. So pull it together."
Good Lord.
Yeah. So
this is like A League of Their Own meets what, The Longest Yard, Shawshank Redemption, and I don't know, maybe The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. This is insane. They're literally playing for their lives.
Yes, very much so. After the governor decides that the risk to his livelihood and his careers is too much, they shut this team down pretty quickly. And Sang's execution date, which had been set for August 22nd, and then magically just didn't happen. It was supposed to be on August 22nd, and they had a game on August 29th, and no one mentioned his execution. It was clear that they had filed a petition for clemency or for delay, but they didn't really know what was going on with it. So he just kept behaving like all is well, and I'll just keep playing until someone tells me not to. So the team is then, shut down shortly thereafter. And then Sang's execution date is actually nailed down. So he gets an extra 9 months of life, and he's not executed until May 24th of 1912. And it's written about extensively across the country because Sang is lauded, which I always think is weird. Sang apparently faced the hangman's noose with bravery and blah 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 blah. The Carbon County Journal says, quote, his steps were steady as he went to his death in a manner which stamped him as a brave man. Does that make you brave? I don't really know. But anyway, this is a story that I feel needs to be turned into a movie or a miniseries at some point.
Chris Cooper is the corrupt warden, the first one. Giovanni Ribisi as the shortstop. I could just see him playing that kind of role. I mean, you could just get this. So many great actors you could throw at that thing. That
right.
Oh man, that's amazing, Brian. I can't believe now. In all fairness to that first team, they beat 11-1. The Western Supply Company. They normally open their season against Southwestern Fender and Body Shop. So, right. And they were a bunch of tomato cans. So that's insane.
So just be pretty interesting. I'm big on the notion that in prisons now, in these hardcore prisons where guys are in lockdown or in the shoe or solitary confinement for 23 hours a day. I mean, just kill them. I mean, that's just, if that isn't the definition of inhumane treatment, I don't know what is. And so feel a team. I don't give a shit. Go out to Huntsville. Did you play any sports in high school? Like, come on, let's make this time productive if we can, instead of you living the rest of your life in a 5x8 box. But that's just me. I'm a lefty.
That's a stunning story, and I think that would make a great film, or even like a TV miniseries. That's
right.
That's amazing.
So there you go. The Wyoming Penitentiary State All-Stars.
Thank you, Brian. That was awesome.
All right. I do have a curse word for you. We'll shift gears here. Here you go.
Okay.
It's time for the Dream Idiot's curse word of the week.
So we'll see what you think of this.
Temesis. The separation of parts of a compound word by an intervening word or words, heard mainly in informal speech.
Ever heard the term temesis before?
I have not.
I stumbled across this because I realized that there are a whole host of curse words that are temesis, like abso-fucking-lutely. So when you cram a portion of one curse word into another, those are curse words that I use with great regularity, and apparently they're called temesis. T-M-E-S.
Fan-fucking-tastic was the first one that came to my mind.
Right. And there are ones that are not profane. A whole nother story, or shove it back any old where in the pile. I mean, yeah. So it doesn't have to be, crass. It can just be, adorable. But
if it weren't crass, it wouldn't be on Dream Idiots. So
there you go.
Temesis, I like that.
Yeah.
See, we aim to offend and educate, so
in equal measure, right?
Thank you, Brian. And speaking of cursing, you're going to be doing some of that in a minute. So, Brian, I walked out the other morning. I think it was Friday morning, and there was actually a hint of fall in the air up here in Colorado. It was gorgeous. It was this, dare I say, almost crisp. It was nice. That means that pretty soon, we're going to start seeing the leaves flying south, birds falling from the trees.
Right.
Fall will be here. And this episode is going to drop on, I believe, the 30th of August. I think it's going to drop on the 30th.
That's right.
And up here, we've already got kids going back to school. And I know that there are kids returning to schools in Texas, college kids. The school year starting, which means it's time for the college quiz second edition.
Oh shit. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna repeat the rules here for folks who missed episode 17, I think. This is a college rhyming game where you'll need to come up with a rhyming phrase to complete my little riddle or setup line, and it's going to reflect the college or university name, its mascot, or its city. I'm going to go through those 3 examples we used last time, and then I'm going to read you 10 setup lines you have to complete.
Okay.
And as a reminder, there's no offense meant to any of these schools or cities or mascots. We support higher education here at Dream Idiots. It's just the rhyme scheme that works. So, Bryan, if you get 7 correct answers before I finish this list, you win. If you get 6 or less, you lose. But if you're at 6 correct answers after 10 questions, I will give you an 11th
Tiebreak
setup to try to get you that 7th correct answer. And as always, if you lose, we have to play this ridiculous game again on a future episode. However, if you win,
losing is assured. But yeah, go ahead.
You have to play this ridiculous game again in a future episode.
Okay.
So let's go over those 3 examples I did last time. Here's one that is an example of the city. The question is, if you're at Michigan State and someone yanks your shorts down, you've just received
Lansing Pantsing. East Lansing
Pantsing, right. Here's an example of the mascot. If you're at Washington and haven't had a proper bath in a while, you might smell like a
Muskie Husky.
And finally, here's one for the college name or the university name. If you attend a private Christian university in Malibu and you're an exceptionally attractive person, you are
Superfine and Pepperdine.
Yep. Superfine and Pepperdine. Okay. So I'm going to have 3 rounds for you. Round 1 is the easy level. It's got 3 questions. Then round 2 moves on to a medium level. It's got 4. And then we have a final round of 3 more questions. And then there's a lifeline question if you need it. Are you ready, Bryan?
No. And by the way, I hate you, but go ahead.
Bryan, you are a student at Michigan and really need a haircut. You should visit the blank and blank blank.
Barber in Ann Arbor.
Very good. Okay, that was an easy one. All right, Bryan, I've been to games with you before. I know that you like to hum along with school fight songs, and you like to hum along. You like to hum along with the school fight song at Western Michigan University. You play an instrument which helps you do this. You play the blank in blank.
This is an easy one.
You like to hum along with the school fight song at Western Michigan University. You play an instrument which helps you do this. You play the blank in blank.
Kazoo in Kalamazoo? No.
Very good. Yes, that's correct. That's 2.
Eastern Michigan's in Kalamazoo.
Western Michigan.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Bryan,
wow.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I've got this uncle who, this is question 3, by the way. I've got an uncle who had a little stint in prison. And he attended a prestigious private university in Pittsburgh. He is now a world-renowned architect. Can you believe that? But to us, his family, he's still the blank from blank blank.
Felon from Carnegie Mellon.
Bryan, you're 3 for 3. Really easy round. Let's see what happens.
I was about to say, right? Yeah, you've lowered the bar for me here to start. Okay, I'm not impressed yet.
Round 2, medium level. Bryan, you are a student at Wake Forest, and you really enjoy spying on people through keyholes. You're a blank, blank, blank.
Wake Forest. Fuck.
No, that's not part of it.
Peeping Tom. No, I don't have it. Tell me.
You sure?
Yeah.
If you're a student at Wake Forest and you like spying on people through keyholes, you're a peeking demon deacon.
I wasn't gonna get that.
Bryan, If you're a student attending a private university in Ohio with your cousins, you got some cousins there, right?
Uh-huh.
You're a freshman, but they're, junior or senior. And these cousins don't drink or smoke. That means you've got blank blank at blank. Private university, Ohio, with cousins who don't drink or smoke. Blank blank at blank.
Teetotalers. I don't know. I'm gonna hate myself for not knowing this. It's there. The pieces of the puzzle are bouncing around my empty skull.
Right. Brian, if you're a student attending a private university in Ohio with your cousins who don't drink or smoke, you've got Soberkin at Oberlin.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get that.
Brian, it's been a rough first year for you in college, and you're at McGill University, the prestigious McGill University, and you've packed on a few pounds, not the freshman 15, but more like the freshman 40. Mean people might call you a blank blank.
So McGill's in Toronto, right? No. You stumped me again. I don't know.
It's not in Toronto, I'll tell you that much.
There is a McGill in Toronto, I think.
It's not the McGill.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, Brian, if you've packed on a few pounds your freshman year, mean people might call you the Montreal Butterball.
This is so fucking stupid.
Dude, you've
three,
got
three for six. Okay, keep going.
Brian, you've got a part-time job in college as a dog walker while studying at Southern Illinois University. You probably pick up a ton of blank blank.
No idea. No clue.
Southern Illinois University.
Uh-huh.
You're a dog walker. So you pick up a ton of blank blank.
Something poop. Or shit.
Saluki dookie.
Saluki. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get that either.
Wow.
Three for seven. These are the hard ones, right? So yeah. So we can just stop now.
Brian, you see male students
Mm-hmm.
at Kenyon in Ohio, wandering the school grounds holding non-edible hard-shelled fruits used as autumn decorations. These fellows are blanks with blanks.
Read the whole thing again, please.
You see male
students
at Kenyon University wandering the school grounds holding non-edible hard-shelled fruits used as autumn decorations. These fellows are blanks with blanks.
Oh my God, my brain's going to explode. I don't know. I don't have it.
What's another word for hard-shell fruit that we see around, autumn?
Oh, I have no idea. Hard-shelled fruit? There are no hard-shelled fruit, are there?
I'm such an asshole.
I was thinking cherry, tangerine. What? Hard-shelled fruit?
What do you
Grape?
call things like? What do you call things like squash and pumpkin? And they all have a specific word that describes them.
Squash and pumpkin. There's
Squash, pumpkin.
squash.
Yeah.
No squash.
There's a name for it. Courgette.
That's the English. That's what it is. A zucchini is a courgette.
It rhymes with fjords. Board, cord, Gourd.
Oh, gourd.
Gourds. Blanks with gourds. Kenyon. Male students only, though.
Male students.
What's a word that rhymes with gourds?
I feel like I'm in the special needs class. I have no fucking idea.
Run through the alphabet.
Mords, blords, chords?
No. I think I heard it.
Boards? No.
No. Jords, chords.
Lords?
Lords.
Lords with gourds?
gourds. I'm gonna give you that one.
Oh, well, that's generous.
Number 9. You see a group of female students at Kenyon
Uh-huh.
preparing for an exam which covers the underworld in Greek mythology. They're blank studying blank.
Ladies studying Hades.
There you go.
So that's a very generous 5. I've got right.
Yep.
Okay.
2 of them are hard. Bryan, you're a student at a public university in Detroit, and you refuse to decorate the entrance to your fence around your home. You like having a blank blank at blank blank.
Detroit. Yeah, I have no idea.
You want a little help?
Okay.
What word do public universities often end in? Because it's blank blank at blank blank.
Well, something state.
There you go.
Right.
Got one word. You like having a blank blank at blank blank.
Blank slate at Kent State. No. Blank slate at something state. Michigan State? No, Michigan State's not in Detroit. Blank slate's correct.
That's not the word I was looking for, but I'll take blank slate. I'll take it.
Okay. Blank slate, and then so the school I don't know. A school in Detroit.
What I wrote was, you like having a plain gate at Wayne State.
Oh,
it's a fence around your home.
Right. Okay.
So just for shits and giggles, let's do the lifeline. You did get 5. Let's do the lifeline, because it's gonna be a long time before we do this again. Your lifeline question is this: you occasionally visit your mother's sister, who's a big fan of the Eastern Michigan University Eagles. She's your little old blank in blank.
Aunt. So little old aunt.
In blank.
Gant?
Mm-mm.
Aunt.
You're close with aunt. What do you call a little old lady? It's my aunt.
You said mother's sister, which is your aunt.
Right. But you can put a couple letters on the end of that word. She's your little old
Auntie.
There you go. You might murder me for this one.
I'm just pleased I got it. Like I got Auntie right.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
You occasionally visit your mother's sister, who's a big fan of the Eastern Michigan University Eagles. She's your little old auntie.
Old auntie.
Ipsil auntie. So more or less painful than the first edition.
Equally, yeah, like Lansing and Boyle. Yeah.
I would have sworn you would have gotten Saluki Dookie.
I've never heard the word Saluki in my entire life. So no, I would not have gotten that.
And my son William wrote the Montreal Butterball line, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty good.
Yeah, not
All
bad.
right, Brian, you fell a little bit short on this one, but
Damn it.
maybe
Twice in a row, I've fallen short.
maybe for bowl season we'll do this again when
Oh, there
bowl
you go.
season rolls around. And that's all I got. That is the college quiz second edition here. And for those of you who turned it off because it was a college second edition, you missed out. And
Well,
for those
and since it featured, basically Midwest school, we should call it the college game edition.
it's the aggressive article, All right, folks.
We are the Dream Idiots.
The Dream Idiots. Thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with her and Anity. And we will see you next time. Be good to each other.
Yeah, keep listening. Go to dreamidiots.com, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, and we'll be back again.
Bye.